Hey, you might be wondering, we were expecting just to be with Sid, and there are two other characters here today. What's up with that? So, effortless IFS includes an awareness, a consciousness of hearing what's being longed for, hearing what is it that you really want, what is it that these aspects of us that we call parts are truly longing for. Like, are we really longing for? Is it really the new car? Is it really $1 million? Is it really the perfect relationship? What is it that we're truly longing for? And that's where this character helps. So, in nonviolent communication, this was an awareness practice, a conflict resolution model developed by Marshall Rosenberg back in the 60s. That when I graduated from law school as a mediator, I was quite enamored by it and spent most of the year traveling with Marshall and then opened a center. And for much of my 20s, this is what I did. And it's quite beautiful in that anything that's said, anything that's felt, there's a listening for what is the longing in that. And as we find that longing, we find something very universal. And then in effortless IFS, we go even deeper. First, hearing the longing gives us an intimacy with our parts, gives us an intimacy with ourselves. And then as we go deeper, it's a way of touching that what the parts are longing for, that much or perhaps all of that can be found in our intrinsic nature. So, what am I talking about? So, the idea is that this can help us recognize and help us with one of the IFS tipping points, which is hearing what's being longed for is I think it's tipping point five, and then the sixth tipping point is to recognize that what's being longed for can be heard in our very in qualities of our intrinsic being. So let's see how that works in practice. So let's say here I am, and there's a part that says, Sid, you look really foolish. Here you are, you call yourself a professional, and you're even dressed up in your fancy shirt, but you're accompanied by puppets. This is, you're going to lose all of your legitimacy, and people are going to be like, yeah, we used to think that guy might have had something to say or was helpful, but how can we hang out with someone that wears puppets? And as we listen to what's being said there, what is the longing of that part? What's being longed for? And that's where this guy comes in. And so that's Marshall Rosenberg chose the puppets, these images, the jackal and the giraffe, for the reason that the giraffe has this really long neck, right? Really long neck. And he just reaches out that neck to really hear what's going on in the language, what's really being wanted, what's heart's expression. And the giraffe also has the biggest heart of any land animal. I'll tell you more about that in a minute, but let's see what happens as the giraffe hears that longing. And there's just a guessing. There's just a listening for. And then it guesses. Are you wanting connection? Are you wanting safety? Are you longing for safety? Are you longing for esteem, sense of well-being? There we go. Yeah, yeah. I want to be okay. I want to feel good about myself. I want to have fun being with people and working with people. I love doing this work, and I don't want us to ruin this by bringing puppets in. Oh, you really want kind of well-being and fulfillment and okayness. Yeah. Okay, this is when it goes a little deeper. So that's classic NVC, classic nonviolent communications. We hear what the need is. And where we go deeper here is we ask the question, what's most like that that's being longed for, this okayness, this well-being that's here now? This is a big deal. This is with our parts, right? The parts generally all have a sense of wanting. And we can go outside to find fulfillment through experience, through relationships, through substances, and or we can go inside and notice what's here in our qualities of our intrinsic being. Like, can we find okayness? Can we find a sense of fulfillment, peace, well-being, safety, whatever's being longed for? And so basically anything that the parts say, anything that a part says, the giraffe hears what's being longed for, hears the heart. And so at first it's like, okay, so it's a doing. We have a part, we have the giraffe part that's doing this, and maybe that helps. But ultimately, in effortless IFS, there is no doing. There's just a hearing. There's just in classic IFS, there's the sea of clarity. There's clarity. Like when someone says, when a part says, "You screwed up. What's wrong with you? You're just making a mess of this. You're an embarrassment." Sometimes we have inner critics that can say things that can be that harsh, right? And but does beingness ever hear anything but love? Ever hear anything but love? And as Dick Schwartz says in IFS, that's our founder of IFS, that all parts, there are no bad parts. They're all here to serve us, to serve our humanity. They're doing the very best they can to serve us. And so when we have a part that says, "You screwed up, you're a mess, you're doing this wrong, you should be so embarrassed," we just listen and hear. We guess. We guess what it wants. Are you wanting peace? Wanting to be in the flow? Mm. Are you wanting, maybe it's that okayness again, that everything's okay? Yeah. Are you wanting, are you longing for joy? Yeah. But so we can start hearing that. And let me just do a couple more to try to make this as real as I can. And will continue. You'll see this in all of our Zooms. There's always a sense of what is it that your parts are longing for, but without doing, as if you're at a restaurant and they're at a table sitting next to you. People are, and you just hear, and as you hear them, something starts to open up here as we go deeper, as the intimacy develops with our parts, as the capacity to be intimate with everything that arises. We start hearing, we start hearing the longing of our parts. And this was a request from Dick Schwartz because he knew that I had this background in NVC. It's like it's something I've always wanted is to bridge NVC and IFS. And so this has been fun that it's a component of IFS, and I've also been presenting into the NVC community because we're also, I mean, what a gift this awareness of multiplicity, the awareness of these different aspects of us are for conflict resolution. I was a mediator for most of my career. And also when we bring a little bit of the spiritual component in, which is diving in to find at least a piece of what we're longing for in our being, that it doesn't all have to be found out there, grasping out through experience. So, what are some other difficult voices inside? Uh, oh, I haven't got it done. You have so much that you need to do. Why are you sitting here making a video? You have all this work to do and all this writing, and you're late. You're procrastinating again. So, what's being wanted when we hear a part that's being it's like you procrastinator, it's like an achiever part. There's things we need to get done. Come on, we have a to-do list. Get it done. What's really being longed here for? Longed for here. And it's like we just guess. The guessing is the trick. It's just guessing. And eventually the system opens up where this hearing is what you hear. You don't get seduced by the surface. You hear the heart. And perhaps that is the clarity that opens up in our system that is spoken of so much in IFS. And so, wanting that to be complete, are you longing for relief? Are you longing for a respite? Are you longing for relaxation? Are you longing for a peaceful flow? Any of those work in your system when you have a part that's judging you about procrastinating? What is it that that part's really longing for? And then we go a little deeper, which is what's most like that, which is being longed for. The respite, the relief, the completion, okayness, the flow that's here now. What's most like that in you? It's the giraffe talking that's here now, but the system just starts to look for that. And this is what we call in IFS, the classic word is updating. The system updates, something learns. And it even happens. Eventually, it's a being that sees the self sees this, but the parts update. This the upsetness, the sense of separation that's here and apart. What's wrong with you? You just sit around all day. You've got a lot to do. You're making videos and playing with puppets. What's up with that? Come on, you've got work to do. You have all these deadlines and things you need to complete. And so, in the moment, it might seem like completion, relief, okayness, the sense of, what happens when we complete something? We go, wow, oh, yummy. That comes just from getting these to-do items complete. But then the updating that eventually occurs is it starts to recognize that some of this respite, this peace, this okayness, the acceptance of what is all, it's here now. And that happens in effortless IFS through, we have three views, right? The second view is it recognizes that it's already soaking in that. It's like a bath. It's soaking in a bath, a hot tub. Oh, of this peace, this acceptance, this respite, this okayness, this flow. Or in the third view, it starts to recognize that it's not separate from self, from this being, this flow, this relief, this relaxation is actually in its very nature. That's a lot. I hope this was fun. Um, Come experiment with us. Bring your difficult parts, and together we'll develop these ears of hearing what's being longed for. See how that goes for you. See you later.